Uncle Ron and stuff. This is battery replacement for a TrebLab HD77. And in the previous video, I showed how to open it up and get to the battery pack, which is located in a battery compartment on this side, right in there. Um, and you can, just as a side comment, you can unplug these speakers, plug into the circuit board. You can take this one, this one on the left side off and have complete access. One of the things it will show is, I thought it was interesting, right down here on the circuit board, right here is the Bluetooth antenna. This is probably the Bluetooth chip, but this is a Bluetooth antenna. And these big cans are capacitors, and capacitors go bad. They uh, okay, battery replacement. This is the original battery that I found in the device, and I had said that it was 7.4 volts, 2600 milliamp hours, and had this kind of connector at the end on it. Just two, just two wires. Okay. Okay. So I said at the time that I had some RC car batteries, and I was going to check them to see. Here's an RC car battery, and it's got the charger attached to it. And these are, here we go. It does say that they are 7.4 volts. Also says they're lithium polymer, lithium Li, and then Po is for polymer. So it's not really a total lithium ion battery. It's a little different chemistry inside of here. And what you will notice about the guy is this is where you actually connect to the motor. And this guy is the charging cable. And you'll see that it has three wires on it, and so it probably watches the temperature of the battery as it charges and make sure it won't overheat. It's interesting when I looked at uh, lithium polymers, they will expand when they're charged. It's kind of weird. They do change physical sizes, where the lithium ion battery does not. It's got a hard shell on it. These have soft shells. I thought that perhaps I could use one of these to start with, but you can see that the connectors on the end are radically different, and I wasn't sure I wanted to modify one of these. I'm having trouble with the camera today. Modify one of these to put that kind of a connector on to see if it would even work. So I told you that the problem I had was coming up with a battery that was approximately this. I could not find one unless it was from China that had the 18650 model number, if you will, for it. So I looked around and I did find this on eBay, and it is listed as a 7.4 volt, 2200 milliamp hour, 14 watt hours, which is less than the one that was in the HD77. But you'll notice, interestingly enough, that it has the same sort of connector on it. They are, in fact, identical connectors. Now, when I bought this battery, it told me the actual name of this connector at the top, and I'll try to look that up for the next portion of this. And so this appears to be if you look at the two of them side by side, they are pretty much identical in length and in thickness. This one has slightly less. This one has slightly less milliamp hours, but I believe it'll work. Another thing interesting to note about this is the wires coming off the original battery are much heavier than the wires coming out of this replacement battery. Now, I don't intend to use it under the battery powered mode. I'll have it always plugged in, so I don't really much care about the milliamp hour of the battery. I was getting a problem where I had flashing ring when it was plugged into the charger, and I couldn't get any decent volume. It was scratchy, broken up volume out of it. And this battery, the HD77 would not run only with this installed. It would not even turn on. And I haven't put a voltmeter across either one of these to see what they look like. Okay, so the bottom line on this part of this battery replacement is I did find one that was like $9. Okay, it appears to have the right size connector on it, and it appears to be physically similar in size. Now this one this was an eBay. It says it has all sorts of protections built into it. You know, overcharging, undercharging, blah, 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 temperature, everything. I'm not sure I believe that, but that's what it said anyway. So, how do I proceed from here? What I'm going to do is put back in the original battery that came out of it. I'm going to connect one of the LED rings at the top. I'm going to plug it back into the charger and see if I have the same results, the flashing LED ring. The reason I'm doing that is I may have damaged something taking the assembly apart, particularly in the area where it had, I think it's a thermistor. There was a hole on the outside of the case. I thought perhaps there was a screw in it, so I pushed a screwdriver down in there and turned some. I may have damaged that component, I don't know. So I'm going to put this back in, connect an LED ring at the top, plug it back into the charger, and I want to be able to see that I get the same results that I had before I took it all apart. Once I do that, if it does in fact replicate those results and I haven't damaged the board, or the circuit board, it could be in fact bad. I'm saying it's the battery pack, but I really don't know. I mean, you know, it could have been something on the circuit board. Again, it's got capacitors and, you know, whatever. So anyway, I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to connect one of the LED rings. I'm going to plug it back into the charger, and I'm going to see if I can repeat that the circuit board at least does work and it's flashing the rings, because this is bad, or might be bad. Okay, that's the end of part one of this. This is battery replacement in a TrebLab HD77, and it's Father's Day, the 18th of June, 2023. This I will add on to this afterwards. Uncle Ron stuff. TrebLabs HD77, part 2. Okay, I showed you how this all came apart, and I decided I would order a battery pack for it, and I did, and here's what I got, and it looked identical to what I had, even had the right connector on it, okay? So, after this is the old battery pack, and you can see all I have is flashing green lights. They're flashing. I don't believe they should be flashing, and the power button doesn't do anything. Now, I'm going to remove the power, and I have a new adapter. That isn't a problem, and I don't get anything. Now I'm going to replace the battery with the new one, and I'll show you that this is the old guy, and here here is the new battery, which is, you know, could be bad. I don't know. You know, I found it on eBay and it was like $9, and that's about what I wanted to go on this guy. So I got the new battery in there. I'm going to push the on button. I don't get anything. So I'm going to apply power back to it again. The new battery will set in there. It's a little tighter fix than the fit than the old one, but it will fit. And if I power up this guy, I have flashing red lights. And again, the power on button, I don't believe does anything. Let's see, power's up here. So I'm done with it. I could have damaged it taking it apart. I don't think so. The problem I originally had, as I explained, was first of all I started noticing the sound was distorted and cutting out. I unplugged it from the power, I plugged it back in, and that's when I started getting the flashing yellow and red lights and so on. And so I thought the battery pack was dead. Uh, I've done everything I can do. You can hold the two volume buttons up and down to do a reset on the board, and I've done that. That didn't do anything. There's also in the line in jack, the audio line in jack, uh, back here, there is, if all the way back in there, it's an interesting thing. You choose toothpick or something, and I have a teeth cleaner here. You can push it in there, and you can feel a button click. And that's supposed to be a reset, and I had held it in. So I've done a hard reset on it. I've tried the other resets. This is with a new battery pack. I let it go 4 hours, and it never changed to stay green. Now, the old battery pack, as you saw, flashes green. The new battery pack is flashing red. Again, I could have bought a bad, lithium-ion battery. It was $9, and it might be bad, but I've tried to charge it, and it won't play. So I'm done with the whole thing. There's obviously some sort of circuit board malfunction. I've reset every connector everywhere, and these little button board connectors and the LED light connectors are a pain in the yin-yang. So I'm done with it. I'm not spending any more time on it. I tried to repair it. I show you how to take it apart. And maybe if you bought a more expensive battery pack, it might work okay for you. I have a 7.4 200 milliamp watt hour replacement battery in this, and it's just not doing it. The main issue is it won't even turn on with no power applied to it. So something is on the circuit board with power is not right. Now, my case, I kept it plugged into the adapter all the time. This thing ran 24/7. It was always on for like 7 months in my garage, which can get to 85 degrees and humidity of whatever is outside. So maybe I ruined it by that. And to clarify, this is not waterproof, it's water resistant. They tell you don't dunk it in the water. You don't want to do that. Finally, the fast thing I can pass on, I had told you in a previous one that this little cable right here probably went to a thermistor that was monitoring the temperature of the battery compartment. I was wrong. This is a microphone. I dug it out, figured out finally. It is the microphone that's built into these things. I never even thought about it. It could be in a microphone, but that's what it is. The battery that I put in here supposedly has all sorts of, too hot, overcharged protection. All those sorts of things were supposedly built into this battery that I bought off of eBay. I haven't tried to put a voltage meter on it to see what it's doing. But anyway, the bottom line is I have tried and I've changed the power adapter. I've changed the power adapter cable. I've let it sit and charge for multiple hours with a new battery. I've reset all the cables. I've done everything I can do. I even contacted the company about it, and they gave me the stuff that you can find on the web. You do this, you do that, and do that, and that. And that's standard what I said. Try the reset button, the two volume buttons at the same time. You can try the little button that's buried underneath the line in jack. I tried all those things. I'm not getting anywhere. Uh, it didn't make any difference whether I had one LED ring lit or both. You can see I have actually taken the circuit board out of it because that was the only way to get to the button board ribbon cable. It's on the underside of this circuit board, and I even thought, well, I may have pulled it out when I was opening a thing up. So I tried everything. Unfortunately, I don't know in the end, you know, you can get into it. It has a replaceable battery pack, but it didn't solve my problem. Distorted sound to start with. When I took it away from the power adapter, it would not turn on. If you have a warranty, you might try TrebLabs, and you have a receipt, of course, and all that. You may be able to get one from them. But for me, this is now junk. I'm not going to spend any more time on it, and I will certainly not be buying another TrebLab. It sounded okay. It didn't sound as good as my Amazon Alexa, the tower that I have. Anyway, that's enough of this one. This is Uncle Ron's stuff. Today's the 21st of June. This is the TrebLab HD77, which has some sort of fault on it. It has various capacitors on the board, and I see those. They're pretty good size. And probably one of them has failed. That's typical failure item on a circuit board is a capacitor. But I tried to look around for a circuit diagram. Of course, it's not available. But anyway, I'm all done with it. Good luck with yours. I'm all done. And this is TrebLab HD77. And in the end, a fail. But I tried. Now, I always try. So tear it apart, put the circuit board in my collection box. The speakers I'll take out, blah, 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 blah. That's enough for today.